wagon chase becomes a gunfight.
I shoot, you go.
Go! And the gunfight is on a hillside.
We were never on a stage. There's a reason it looks like we're behind a bunch of precarious rocks on the side of the hill, because that's where we shot it. We shot it very precariously behind some rocks on the side of a hill.
Cue the guys to come out of cover. Tom will see that, then he fires off his next two and we carry on. Tom in this film was never afraid to be who he was in age.
Hey, Kid! You're good for a man of years!
Help me.
He gave us a kid who was both incredibly physically capable, but also you got that his back hurt and that the physical ordeal of going up Dime Mountain fighting those guys was not one that he wanted. It was brought to him and he was going to have to do it. If you've lost the wagon and you're on foot, you're loading Kid with more and more difficulties. The dust storm was about setting up the emotionality of it.
Johanna!
And then that's the final shredding of his character.
Johanna! You know how you make a dust storm? You have a bunch of big fans, but they have to throw dirt into the fans. Otherwise, you can't see that there's wind there. Johanna!
There's a limit to how long you can expose an actor to.
Sandstorm was nuts. Most guys in that position would come out of there coughing, and Tom was like, okay, what do we got next? Covered in dust, face, beard, eyes. Him and Paul would talk, bam, he's right back in there.
Dust, I'll trade that for fake rain any day, man. Rain at night, oh, that's a miserable way to shoot.
It's so incredibly emotional because you live the physicality of the journey. Whether it's a shootout in a rocky hillside or losing your wagon and have an endless walk with no water, dust storms, desperados.
Hey, Cap! Did not say I'd come for you!
And there's a sort of boyish adventure to it.
She's one of us now, and I'm taking her home!
I was looking to do something very different. I wanted to have a film that had a redemptive, happy ending. This film, it's set in South Texas in 1870, just after the Civil War, but it felt oddly contemporary. It was the human story at the heart of it. This journey through this hard world towards redemption really spoke to me.
I was moved by the power of the story and fighting the human nature that says, give into your fear. That ongoing conflict ends up being part of every town that Kid goes to read the news. And Paul was addressing that.
The luckiest moment was when Paul Greengrass signed on. He really brought out the heart and soul in it.
The story allowed him to talk about matters that are important to him.
I'm here to tell you about the 11 men who fought back against their deadly fate.
It became an adventure, climbing up hills. I remember one hill we had to rope ourselves up. Blazing heat by day, freezing cold at night.
It's scary but cool too that there's tarantulas.
I touched a tarantula.
And rattlesnakes.
We had unbelievable numbers of snake wranglers, and even then some got through. You turn around to be a rattlesnake there 6 foot away.
I've definitely seen a few different types of snakes, different species. I've seen some bull snakes, some red racers, and I've removed 4 of them safely.
We were never on a stage. We were never in a production facility.
There we go.
That's just a gift. That means you're not really faking anything. The light of a fire, light of the lanterns. There were no rules.
Imagine playing Captain Kidd. We had to ride a horse, drive a wagon, chase around dangerous cliffs, come on, tell great stories.
A man dead and buried has risen from the grave.
It's a phenomenal 360-degree skill set.
Nice work, Tom. Very good work.
Falling with style, I mean, anybody can do it.
He's so funny, Tom. I remember saying to him, it was just perfect. And he'd always say, oh, it's just acting. It's just make-believe. It's not real. And he would have just done something so sublimely human, so absolutely simple and real. And that is his genius as an actor.
That's my wife.
Other than being lucky enough to have Tom play Kidd, the second most important thing was finding someone to play Johanna Leonberger.
Action.
I like the character of Johanna.
And bang!
I think she's a little bit like me. She seems like a headstrong girl in a difficult situation.
Captain, you Johanna. You, Johanna. We talked about that at the get-go. It's like, when do you think we can shoot this movie? And we all said, when we have Johanna, and not a moment before. When you get her, that's when you make the movie.